Hey everyone, and welcome to the Hair Healer Podcast. I'm your host, Colleen the Hair Healer. I invite you to embark with me upon a journey of exchanging energy and creating conversations with my clients as we discuss our journeys through life. So come with me and let's see where today's episode takes us. Hey guys, I hope everyone had a fabulous Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to all the moms out there in any way, shape, and form. I hope everyone enjoyed their day and got outside. It was a beautiful day, in fact. Again, this has been a pretty good week. Every day is a new day, right? If you're listening to this and you kind of been feeling shitty, that will pass. If you're listening to this and feeling really good, that will pass too. It's just back and forth. And this week, what's come up for me a lot is really coming into my power and the different ways that I can come into my power as an almost 32-year-old woman, right? And I'm feeling like I'm finally just starting to grow up. That is the truth. And the way I grew up, it was sort of, and for many different reasons, without getting into too many details, I had to be the emotional rock. And if it came to my family, my friends, whatever it was, someone I loved, if something they were doing or something about them or something who they were was not okay with my spirit or wasn't okay with my nature, I wasn't allowed to speak up. I wasn't allowed to say, hey, I don't want to do that just because. Okay. Or, hey, I don't want to go there just because. Like, I felt like I was going to disappoint the person. And that throughout my life played into men, relationships, so many things. I stayed in jobs. So many jobs because I felt like I was letting the person down. Again, particularly men. I stayed in friendships. I stayed in relationships because I didn't want them. I felt if I was letting them down that they were going to judge my character at a core and who I say I am in helping people. And each time I did that, each time I stayed, each hour I stayed in something longer that wasn't good for my spirit, it took away my power. It took away my voice. It took away my truth. And so 2020, even before 2020, the middle of the summer, when I met my therapist, it had been a lot of like, she was able to reach my inner child, that little girl that always felt so powerless, and was able to say, hey, look, like, guess what? It's okay to do something for you. It's okay not to be involved with a person, place, or thing because you just isn't good for you or doesn't fulfill your energy or your spirit or your soul. And I was like, what? Huh? What? You mean, I thought if I love someone, like their needs always had to come first, I can say no? And that was like a really, really powerful thing. I remember just in general, like, I came along with this, friends, if I didn't want to go do something, I would like have to write out this whole excuse or lie or whatever. Now, if I don't want to do something, I say, hey, I don't want to do it. No. Okay. So it's okay to say no, especially if it's just not what you want to do and not good for you. I'm really excited about this episode with the brow healer. When I found her on Instagram, again, I'm the hair healer. So I found the brow healer and I said, let me check her out. And whoo, she is a badass boss babe. And I want to jump into the power and women feeling powerful. And again, this isn't, anti-men. I definitely love my men, but women, right? And men need to understand this too. We have been like our voice, who we are has just been for years, just submissed, right? And now it's like, okay, wait, guess what? I come first. Here's my power. I'm living in my power. And this woman certainly does that. And we hear from her weakest moments to how she grew in her power. So I'm really, really excited about this episode. It's a beautiful day today. We have the moon in Capricorn. So remember, if things aren't fulfilling your spirit, right, or your energy, why are you wasting it there, right? Why are you wasting that there? Capricorn wants to know, like, where can you put your energy in something that's going to give you more structure, give you something in return, water your garden, your flowers, water you in some way, shape, or form. And where do you need more structure, right? Where do you need, is it a new creative project you're doing? Is it a relationship, a family, a home? Where do you need to bring some more structure and discipline? So think about that as we have the Capricorn moon. Remember, it's a little more strict, it's a little more reserved, but it's teaching us boundaries. It's teaching us things that are good for our soul so we can continue to thrive the way we need to thrive. Again, let me just jump into this episode. Please add me on Instagram at the Hair Healer 1111. If you feel like you have a message you want to bring, a message of hope, please email me, the Hair Healer podcast@yahoo.com. Make sure you share, rate, review with everyone you can. I love you guys so much. Now let's go vibe with Andrea, the brow healer. Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Hair Healer Podcast Quarantine Series. I am here with the Brow Healer, aka Andrea. Say hello to everyone.
Hey, hi.
I originally found Andrea on Instagram. I think I was looking up like people with names, or I'm the hair healer, and I saw, oh, the Brow Healer. Let me check her out, and she instantly had this like. She's drop dead gorgeous, has an amazing body, and she instantly had this like bright spirit and just like, which I love. And no matter what was going on, she would acknowledge her hard days, but still like try to come from a soulful, spiritual place. So I thought she would be perfect to have on this time, especially for everyone in our beauty industry that I know is going through a hard time right now. And so we could all talk and bring a sense of community. So you are in Chicago, Andrea, right?
I am in the Windy City where you never know if it's going to be 30 degrees one day or it might be 70 degrees, the next day. So that's, we live in a city where we keep our our winter coat out all year round. So where you never really know what's going to happen.
I was in Chicago one time, and it was years ago when I was a raver. I was like 20 or 21. And I remember,
yes, girl.
Yes, and I remember like it was Halloween weekend, and like the 2 day, like Halloween and the day before were beautiful going on Lakeshore Drive. And then the next day was like November 1st, like a light bulb turned on and it was so cold, the wind. I was like, oh, hell no. Are you from the Chicago area?
Yeah. Born and raised here. I've been here my whole life. So, I think the past 2 Halloweens, like you said, girl, they've been snowy, they've been cold. It just, no trick-or-treating. Like, it literally just has been...
no trick-or-treating?
No, it gets too cold, girl. Snowstorms, like, literally people just cannot. If you like the cold and you're like, I'm going anyways to get the candy, people go. But other than that, maybe you have the option to go to the mall or something and go trick-or-treating. But other than that, it's a little challenging to want to go trick-or-treating in the snow. So, yeah.
I just had a thought. Does that mean that, like, you guys are probably used to the quarantine a little bit? Like, I know when it's cold here in Philly, I don't want to leave. So you guys are probably, like, used to not leaving, right?
Yeah, I mean, when it's cold in Chicago, if you leave to go do what you got to do, other than that, you're in the house, you're leaving the house to go get what you need. You're coming home, you're walking your dog. So for most people, yeah, quarantine, it's actually a lot warmer than this year around than it usually is, like in the past few years. But like the weather that we've been getting is on and off, snow here and there, but we're getting more warmer days earlier than we typically do. So, and especially because Groundhog Day, the groundhog came out. So that means that spring is already here a lot sooner, but now we're in quarantine.
So go figure, right? We don't even get to celebrate it. That is true. I mean, I try to get out as much. Do you have parks you can go to? How is the city right now in the quarantine?
So we cannot go into the parks. Everything is blocked off right now. Girl, they even have like things covering the basketball nets so people don't try to go in there and play basketball, which is crazy.
That's crazy.
Other than that, all the parks are pretty much shut down. I know at least around me they are. I couldn't really say too much for other areas because I'm a homebody anyways.
Are you?
Yeah. I'm a homebody, so I'm really just, for me, this is like cool. Well, I'm just working from home now. I just can't, go open up my studio. But other than that, a lot of things are closed down. Grocery stores, you can do all that stuff. Everything is drive-through. You can't sit in anywhere. You can still go and walk your dog. People who still have to go to work, go to work. But other than that, it's kind of the same everywhere as far as, being in quarantine and not being able to do much.
So how are you keeping your mindset right now, especially being, I know we talked a little bit about your other job, but you are, besides a healer, you are also a brow artist and a lash artist, right?
So I'm actually just a brow artist.
Oh.
But I did go to school for cosmetology. So I did I did work in a salon. I worked in a blow dry bar. But for a little while, I started specifically focusing on bridals, bridal updos, freelancing. I would do freelancing. Cool. So I did that for a little while, and then the weddings got a little bit overwhelming. So I'm like,
they can't. Oh God, I know.
I'm done. I'm out of this. And then I got into cosmetic tattooing. So I do the eyebrow tattoos, like microblading and stuff like that.
They are amazing. In fact, I was thinking the other day, I think it was even before, like when I was thinking about asking you, I'm like, I'm going to Chicago and I'm going to have you do my eyebrows because you are so good. They are like, they're beautiful. The ombre eyebrows. You do, right? Oh my God. And I need them so bad. So I'm manifesting it. I will be there one day.
Yes, girl, come through.
So tell us a little bit about your journey. You know, this is a lot about people's spiritual journeys and how they got through their dark times to help a lot of people get in their dark times right now. So let's talk life. How'd you get, we can start with brows. How'd you get into brows?
So here's the thing. When I was working in a blow dry bar, I was just like so overworked and underpaid.
Oh God.
And
so I hate blow drying.
Me to like be looking at the books and the appointments while I was at home, like from my computer. And I was like, you know, just to book certain people with certain artists. And I was like, this is too much, you know, like for what I'm getting paid. So then I seen microblading start to become very popular. And I was like, okay, let me see it. Let me look into this. Let me see if I can do this. And let me see if I can do this. And then at the time, let me see, how did I even get into it? At the time, I was living with my boyfriend. And I told him that I wanted to do it. So he gave me the money to do it. It was like $1,200 course. But girl, it was a bullshit ass course. So
it was?
On my own. It was a bullshit ass course. Like, you know, they missed so many things. Now, after all the trainings that I've gone through and actually going to a school for it, I was like, damn, they didn't teach me shit. But you know what? I didn't give up. It takes a lot of practice, a lot of patience. Like, you know, microblading is cutting into the skin. So just learning so many things over the years, and over the past 2 years and doing it, I just stuck with it. I didn't give up. And in the beginning, I did it for the money. You know, it's really good money. But then I saw how people feel about themselves and how they view themselves, you know, their confidence, how it's such a confidence booster, how the smallest things, how that's it's something so small, but something so big. And you think because we're in the beauty industry, it's vanity, but at the same time, people go through so many things like cancer, alopecia, or autoimmune diseases. And it doesn't become about the money anymore. It becomes about, hey, like, I just help them build confidence.
Wow. Yes.
And feel good about themselves. And I think that that's one thing that we're not taught in the beauty industry. We're taught the vanity, like everything is so beautiful. Everything is beautiful, but deep down, the beauty is on the inside. So that's why I did name my business The Beauty Portal, because one day I woke up, I received the download of what everything the Beauty Portal was going to be.
Like you were laying in bed still?
I woke up out of my sleep and it was like, it's going to be called The Beauty Portal. And I wrote everything that it was going to be, how I was going to help women, how beauty isn't just about the outside. It's all about the inside too. So my website, when you go on it, it says, where outer beauty meets inner beauty. Right. Aww. So as I was on my own healing journey and going through my own healing, I was like, wow, there are so many other women going through similar things, like just different walks of life where we're still learning to love ourselves on this journey. Right.
Isn't that the truth?
How do we do that? You know, but it really becomes like when I got on my spiritual path, you know, I went through a really bad breakup.
When was it?
So I was engaged. And I had moved my whole life. I must have been like 25, 26. I moved my whole life to New York.
New York City?
Yeah. And at that time, I actually had just got it started like on my fitness journey. Like he was the reason why I started working out and doing all these things. But because he wanted me to be this perfect woman, you know, for everybody else.
Outside.
You know? Yeah, like you got to be this, you got to be that. And at the time, like you're young, naive, you're in love, you want to chase the boy, you know, coming from Hispanic culture, you should be married by this age, you know, find a man to love you, find a man to take care of you. So during that time, that was my mentality, you know. So I had met this guy, I moved to New York. I had left my daughter at the time. She's 13 now, but at the time she was about 5 or 6. So I left her for a little bit with my parents just to get situated in New York, right? So, you know, well, the relationship didn't actually last very long. It only lasted about 6 months.
Oh, wow. But it was intense.
The whole relationship was a lie. It was based on a lie. He was a drug addict. He was addicted to heroin.
What did he say he was? Did he just say he was...
So here's the thing. I knew that there was a problem. Kind of, sort of.
Your
and
intuition.
I was participating sometimes in the drugs, right?
Yes, okay.
But I didn't know that I was enabling him. I didn't know I was enabling him.
Yeah.
That's how good he was at hiding it.
So I was a former heroin addict, so I know we're very good at manipulating those who are around us.
Girl.
Yes.
And he would go to doctor's appointments to get what's that stuff that keeps you off, to keep you from getting addicted? Suboxone.
Oh, Suboxone, yeah.
And he would say, I'm going to be fine. But anytime, like, he was always sick, right? So he was like, oh, I ate this chicken sandwich, Italian.
My allergies.
Right. But he was having withdrawals.
Oh, God, yeah.
Now that I look back, he was having withdrawals. Mm-hmm. So it became abusive. It became emotionally, mentally, physically abusive.
Wow.
Now that I look back at it. And I don't blame anything, everything on him. I partook in all that. But at this age, you don't know what you're really doing. Like, you think this is love. You think this is okay. You want to fight for this person and you know who they are. But who they are as a drug addict, and when they come back, once they go through their recovery, you're not that person anymore.
Yeah, 100%.
Which is what I learned. So anyway, the very last straw, he beat me up in front of my daughter.
Oh my God.
And he threw a cell phone at my face, busted my face open. And that day, like, she was traumatized for a long time. So after that happened, I was like, okay, like really in my mind, it was time to go. But it's like, how am I going to go? I don't really have any money,
You were in New York at the time?
Yeah, I was in New York at the time. So the whole point of me, like, getting into fitness and all that stuff was he was in the nightclub industry, to top it off, girl. Like, okay, he was in the.
Was he a cokehead too?
What happened?
Was he a cokehead too?
Oh, girl,
Speedball, yeah. So he was all crazy.
That they could find, that's they would do it, and so. The whole purpose of me was getting into shape was, because I was going to work in a day club and a bathing suit. Girl, listen, I went as far as getting my boobs done and getting liposuction. Okay?
Wow.
I went that far. His mother came from New York to Chicago to take care of me during this whole thing. She put the whole thing on her credit card. I paid the whole credit card back by myself. Okay.
That's right.
And every flight that I took to New York back and forth during this long distance relationship, he never paid for anything. He never paid for one flight. He proposed to me in front of my family on a vacation, on a family vacation. My ring was fake. The whole relationship was based on a fucking lie. Okay. So fast forward to
it's part of your soul evolution.
Girl, it was all part.
Always
it was
is.
all part of it.
Yeah.
So after all that happened, after the very last fight, I had a friend who's in the music industry, and he called me. He's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "I know something's wrong. I haven't talked to you in 3 days." So when he calls me, and I tell him what happened, he's like, "I knew you weren't okay." He's like, "Come to the city. I'm gonna give you some money, and you're gonna go home."
Right? So, wow, he's like your angel.
Universe coming through.
Yes, always.
So I go to the city. I meet him. He gives me the money. He gives me $3,000. He's like, "Go home. Don't come back. You don't deserve to be. You don't deserve to be treated like that." So I did, girl.
Good.
And I took my ass home, and I left all my shit there. I left most of my things there. I grabbed all my things. Amazing. And I went home. And so that was that, like. And then at that time, I was like, God, I can't go live with my parents. Like, it's humiliating. You feel embarrassed. You feel betrayed. Like, yo.
Did your parents like him, or they were like, don't go?
My mom always knew.
Oh, wait, they always do.
She would look at him and she's like, he's not right. He's not right. And girl, I found I let so many things ride that, at the time were found acceptable. And even one time when he was at my house for Christmas, he had come from New York to Chicago. He was living in New York, like it was long distance for a little bit. So he, something told me go through his phone, so he's passed out on the bed, and he go through the phone and I see that he had sex in his car with some girl.
Oh God, really?
And it was another girl. They were doing drugs together, all that stuff. She probably worked in the hotel. They worked in the same hotel. And I was like, and so when I saw that, I woke him up and I said, hey, I'm like, listen, I told you that if you're going to be doing your bullshit, I don't want to know about it. What is this about? I was like, clearly you had some girl in your car that you picked me up in from the airport and stuff like that. And this is what you're doing. And, he's like, I'll leave, blah, blah, blah. This and that. I said, no. I said, this is the last time that I ever want to catch you doing this. And if I said, I just don't want to know. I found it okay. I found it acceptable. Like, this is what men do. They cheat, it's all good. And I said, we're going to act like nothing ever happened and I'm never going to talk about it again.
Wow.
He's like, so we're just going to pretend like in front of your family, like everything is all good. I'm like, yep, that's exactly what we're going to do. And I never spoke about it again.
You never did? Why do you think you didn't?
I didn't because, I had, prior to that, like many, many years before I even got into beauty school, I worked in a barber shop for 4 years with 10 guys. And there was a lot of things that I've seen that I found acceptable.
It's
behavior was just like them, partying, having fun, having sex, that's, so you get around these men that are doing all this, that are cheating on their wives, that are cheating on their girlfriends. And it's like, well, this is what men do.
It is funny in that environment. That's what you see. That's all you see.
In that environment, that's what I see, So I was out there doing my thing too. Like, having sex with different guys, experience. I'm going to call it experiencing. I was having my experiences. And I had a good ass fucking time, girl.
Good.
Back and I'm like, thank God I'm alive because shit, girl. I've been some shit.
Hell yes. I love it. Yes.
So I found that acceptable at the time, and I was like, well, fuck it, this is what guys do. So anyway, I had let that ride, but after that happened, I came back home to Chicago, and I was really depressed. I was, it breaks every piece of you thinking like, yo, this was supposed to be my life. I'm supposed to be married to this guy, and it didn't work out like that. So this whole time he comes out of recovery and stuff like that, he's getting his shit together, getting to know who he is. So I even went as far. He didn't want to talk to me, nothing, girl. It was like I never existed.
Wow. So it was like nothing, like you were gone.
Nothing. It was like I never existed. I had even gone back a few times afterwards to try to make things work, and he just, there was no, I think he felt bad now thinking about it. And so it even came down to the point where, like, when he started going back to work and, things like that, like he was hanging out with all these people and girls, and like, it was just like, I never existed. So I even went as far as like just taking a flight out there without telling him. And he did not receive me, girl.
Wait, what happened? So
his dad drove me back home. His dad drove me back to the airport so that I could.
How did that feel? Was that heartbreaking? Like, do you remember, or were you just kind of like?
Now that I think about it, wow, that was massive rejection.
Mm-hmm.
That was major. Wow, I've honestly never told anybody that.
Wow, now you told a whole bunch of people. That's beautiful, though. That's like a release. You're releasing that.
You know what? I actually just felt the release because my mom was like, she's like, do you really need to go? Is this something that you need to do? And I was like, yeah. So
and you never got the closure.
Huh?
You never got the closure you wanted.
I didn't. And I never got it. I never got it, girl. So, my mom was like, is this something that you really need to do? And she was like, I was like, yeah. She's like, okay, well, buy the ticket. My mom let me use her credit card.
Aw, mom.
She was like, go, and I came back and she was just like, she was letting me learn my lesson.
Yeah.
So anyways, I come back, girl, I go through all this shit, and oh my God, even during this whole time, I missed a really big part of this. During this whole time, even before the cheating and all that stuff, before I even moved out there, my daughter's father passed away in a very tragic accident.
Oh my God, how? You're bringing me to tears.
Yeah, he died he drowned in a kayaking accident in Texas.
Wow.
A few months before I moved out there to New York. And I had seen him a year before that. And my daughter had gone to Mexico with my parents, and they're like, "Hey, we're going to take her for 2 weeks." She was the only child at the time, the only grandchild. I was the first one to have a baby. I have 3 more sisters and a brother.
Oh, wow.
I had the first grandchild in the house. So I had the first, she was about 5, and they're like, "Yeah, we're going to take her." And, I'm young mom. I'm like, "Yeah, take her."
Absolutely. Yes.
So my friend was like, "Hey, let's go to Vegas." So I got a one-way ticket to Vegas. I went out there to just, girl, have fun.
Hell yes.
Vegas. You know
Absolutely.
what I'm saying? So when it was time for me to come home, he's like, "Hey, I'm in Chicago. I want to see the baby," because he was in the military. So he came from Texas to surprise her. Nobody knew that he was coming.
Oh, shit.
So I was like, "Hey, can you pick me up from the airport since you're in Chicago?" So this is around July. I want to say July 8th or 9th, because I went to Vegas for 4th of July weekend. So he picks me up from the airport when I came home, and I was like, "Hey, the baby's not here. She's in Mexico with my parents." He's like, "Oh, I guess next time I'll see her," because by the time she came back, he was already going to be gone. So that was the last time that I saw him.
Wow.
I never hugged him goodbye. I just said, "Hey, I'll see you later." I didn't hang out with him. We were cool, nothing bad,
Yeah.
We were just cool. And so the following year, I was picking him up in a casket from the airport. So it was heavy.
How old
shit,
were
girl.
you?
So,
How old were you? How old were you at the time?
I was about 27.
Wow.
27, 28. Probably around 27 years old.
Did your daughter understand what happened?
She understood fully. During that time, she was actually going to like a Lutheran school in the neighborhood, and they taught all about angels. So everything was kind of where my life was at. For her to understand, she understood it really well, because even when we were in the funeral, when we went up to the body, and I'll never forget this, she was like, "Hug him, mommy, it's okay."
Aww.
So now looking back even more, it makes sense now, because now I know that they had a soul contract.
Wow. Yes.
They were brother and sister in a past life. And
did you learn of that afterwards?
Yeah, I learned that not that long ago, that they have a soul contract. They had to fill out their mission in this lifetime, and he chose me to bring her, into this life. So they're definitely connected. They've been together many lifetimes already. So I was just the one that was chosen, to bring her.
I would choose you. I would choose you.
What was that?
I would choose you.
Thank you.
Oh, you're bringing me to tears. You really are. Oh my God.
I used to cry, girl. I used to cry telling the story, but now it's like, because I did go through him passing away, and through that hardship, through that relationship,
Now, let me ask you this. He died before you went to New York?
He died before I went to New York. So
did that sort of kind of enhance your partying, I'm sure, and
and honestly, I grieved it, but I didn't realize, now that I know what grieving actually is.
Yes.
I grieved a lot of things in a whole year. I grieved him. I grieved that relationship. Somebody never apologizing to me. Somebody never apologizing for taking my daughter to buy drugs with him.
Oh my God.
There was a lot of things, and I held a lot of guilt and a lot of resentment, a lot of rejection. So that stuff built up. When I came back from New York, I got my own place. I got everything that I needed, but emotionally, I was fucked up. I was messed up,
Yeah.
So
at that rock bottom.
Yeah, it was a rock bottom. And, during this whole time, I had already gotten into the whole fitness thing, so I always say, like, love got me started, but heartbreak keeps me going. Heartbreak kept me going.
That.
The gym was my best friend. I got out of depression because of the gym, just going somewhere and not even knowing what I was actually releasing, So that's how I fell in love with the gym. And then I got into the bodybuilding. But even during this whole time, and I was saying the other day, I don't know where I was talking, but how the universe always puts people on your path to help you, because when I did finally start going back to work, I went to go work in a blow dry bar, and the owner, the lady that hired me, once I got to know her, she got to know me. She was like, I just kind of told her a little bit about me, and she was like, well, she actually had gone to school for psychology or something like that for addiction, because her father was an alcoholic.
Wow.
So she says, hey, Andrea, I'm going to tell you something about addicts. She's like, it's either going to work out or it's not going to work out. And that's because they're not the same person anymore.
Yeah.
Right. So I always remember her telling me that because, you know, when you're going through something, it's like you want to cry all the time, but you want to get over it. But that's when working in that place is like where I kind of, you know, now I'm going back out. Now I'm working. Now I'm making money. So it was like starting all over. But, you know, you're just really trying to figure out your emotions, you know, and they don't teach us that. We're taught, be strong, you know, be strong. Like you can never cry. And I spent so many days and so many nights just crying in the shower so my daughter wouldn't see me like feeling, why am I not enough? Yeah. Why didn't he choose me?
Wow.
Seeing him on Instagram or Facebook with his new girlfriend, going on vacations with her and doing all that shit. And you're thinking like, why not? Why not? You owe me. You owe me.
Yes.
But he taught me the biggest lesson in my life that nobody owes me anything. You know, I don't get value in being needed by men. I'm valuable regardless.
Yes, say that again. Yes, I love it. Yes, you are.
You know, so and that's what I know now because I know who I am. You know, at that time, if I had the mentality and going back to that version of me, you know, it's like I'm abusing myself because I'm allowing that.
Yeah.
You know, and in a lot of cultures and in Latina cultures, you know, it's like we're always serving the men.
Wow.
You know, you go last, you know, so all of that brought me, that was probably the my daughter's father dying, you know, not grieving that relationship. All of that brought me to who I am now and why I created the beauty portal and learning about me, learning about self-love. So I had actually started, the very first, healing circle so then during this time I start going to church, right? My friend is like, she's like, hey, come on, let's go to church, you know, Christian church. And I was like, well, I'm not opposed to it. Yeah, you know, let's go. So she's like, bring a Bible, you know, during this time that I'm working in the salon. Yeah. She's like, bring a Bible. And I was like, okay. So during a summer sometime, I found a purse and the purse had only a Bible and a bag of like vitamins, right? So I ended up throwing everything away, but I kept the Bible. Like I had never opened it, nothing. So I was like, oh, cool, I have a Bible, you know? Girl, when I get into that church, you know, the pastor's like, open up your Bibles. And the name of the church was called Chicago Tabernacle. So I open up this Bible and it says, this Bible belongs to so-and-so and so from Chicago Tabernacle.
Wow.
And I was like, wow, like, okay. And then the pastor starts talking about addiction. So I was like, I spent so many Sundays in church crying. I would go to Tuesday prayer religiously just to be prayed over. And that's when like the real journey began, the real healing. And, you know, people just pray over you and it's a beautiful feeling. So I did the church thing for like 2 or 3 years. And then I went to my first healing circle and I was just being invited and I was like, cool. I brought my friend. I brought 2 friends with me and she was an energy healer.
Wow.
And you know, she's, you know, they feel, they see, they're picking up on everything. So we're all in a circle. We're clearing the energy out of the room with essential oils, you know? So, then, you know, she's going through everybody. She's feeling it. Now she's crying because she's picking up on everything, clearing the energy out of the room. But when we're done, everybody got 10 minutes with her, you know? So went into a separate room with her and she's like, so she could see the energy, you know, she can see the aura. And she starts twirling her finger in my chest, you know, like a string. So she's like, tell me what you have going on. So I start talking about it. And as I'm talking, she pulls the string like out of my chest. And all of a sudden it was like,
you could feel it.
I could breathe. Breathe. She's like, you're holding on to so much guilt. And I did, girl. And I was just letting go. I just let it all out and I was crying, but I released. You know, so ever since then, like that was my first healing circle. I've had intuitive coaches, Akashic record readers. I still have intuitive coaches now. I've done.
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. What was the one thing you said? Or say it again. Began with an A. Something readers.
Akashic record reader.
What's that?
So an Akashic record reader, she goes in to read your past lives.
Oh, okay, right? Okay. That's cool.
So they go in to read your past lives, and that's.
I just never heard it called that.
Huh?
I just never heard it called that. That's probably the proper term. My ADHD, I hear like half of the right terms of things.
Oh, okay. Yeah. The Akashic record reader, she's the one that was like, hey, listen, your daughter and her father had shared a past life together. He was the older brother. She was the younger sister. He got all the attention. So she felt abandoned by the family.
Wow.
And now this lifetime that he dies, she feels abandoned again. So she's healing right now through a lot of past life stuff, from her dad not being here. But overall, because I've done my healing, I've done the healing work, I'm clearing the way for her, and I've cleared the way for her a lot.
So much. You have done so much. I can just see you. You were like turning her into a strong, beautiful woman just like you. Now, real quick, a question before I forget. In the Latino culture, and you said that the women were always kind of taught to serve. Do you see now like kind of a rise up of the women? Like, do you see that?
Absolutely. And I definitely speak on it a lot.
Good.
And I say it because growing up, I have 3 more sisters and I have a brother. Now, my brother never had to do shit. It was very rare. My mom would always be like, if I was doing anything or I was about to go anywhere, my mom would be like, make your brother food. Make your brother food. Wow. When my dad would come home.
Wait, so it wasn't even just dads. It was like your brothers you had to also.
Yeah, it was my brother too. And even with my dad, I remember my dad was a bus driver. And so my mom, she would be home after work, like early 2 or 3. But anytime that my dad came home, he came home at the same time every day, 4 o'clock, maybe 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. And she would be like, your dad's home, go take his shoes off and rub his feet.
Wow.
Yeah. So it would be like that. Or if my dad was on the route that was close to the house, she'd be like, go wait for your dad on the corner and give him his lunch. So that was all of us, and my brother worked as a lifeguard. She'd be like, go take your brother lunch, go drive to the beach and go give your brother lunch, So it was a lot of tending to, men, it would be when we were learning how to cook, my mom would be like, you need to learn how to cook or nobody's ever going to marry you.
Wow.
You gotta know how to iron. You gotta know how to do laundry. You gotta know how to do all these things. Otherwise, a man is not gonna want you.
Now, how were you able to like deprogram yourself from that, or how are you still working on that? Is that like what is that?
No, yeah. So that's a really good question. I'm really happy that you asked that. So I came across. So Instagram is such an amazing platform.
So amazing.
To find things. And so I came across a program that called To Be Magnetic, right? It was called To Be Magnetic. And so let me rewind a little bit. So during this time that I was living with a boyfriend, my ex-boyfriend recently from 2 years ago, I just started feeling like once I started getting into meditation more and more, I just started to feel the call really strong to sit down and be still.
Wow.
And during that time, my friend, she sent me a YouTube link to Dr. Wayne Dyer, 101 Ways to Change Your Life.
Yes.
So I started practicing that every single day.
Aww.
And I started to dive more into learning about me and meditation. And when you do that, you start to raise your vibration and you're like,
yes.
I don't have to do that, right? I don't have to do certain things anymore. Like, what I like is what I like, period. So during this time that I'm living with my boyfriend, and this is around the same time when I met the first energy healer ever.
Okay.
I would have sessions with her at my house, and my boyfriend would, when you start to get into the crystals and stuff, they're like, what the fuck is this?
I know, right?
Right? So that's what started to happen. And I started to vibe out of the relationship.
Oh, yeah, grow out of it. Yes.
Yeah, energetically. And that's actually when I decided that I was going to leave him. And I was like, I don't have any money. I don't know how I'm going to do this because I was working, but he was still taking care of everything. So he was still taking care of everything. Great guy. We're still friends, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I'm super grateful that I still have him in my life. We're still really good friends. But, at the time for him, it was like, like me, you're never going to get another one. So then after that, I decided, I was like, I'm going to leave. And it's so crazy because I was listening to a lot of Abraham Hicks too.
Oh, yes.
and a YouTube video was playing out loud. Usually I'm cleaning, but low key, I was already packing the closet up, like preparing myself to move. I had already told my daughter, like, listen, we're going to move out. It's time to be me and you. I never, during this whole time, like the relationship in New York, my daughter's father passing, I never actually even gave my daughter time to build a relationship with her.
Do you know, it's funny you said that was similar coming out with my son's almost 6, and I was pregnant with Remy, who's going to be 4 tomorrow. And and my other son was 2 years old, and the same thing. I was young. I had him at like 25, and I was so concerned of like trying to find like that void, that male void, and like this. I was just talking about the other day with my older son that I feel like I missed so much because I was so young and trying to find love, I guess, right?
Yes. And so I said, I need to build a relationship with you. I said, it's never
beautiful.
Just you, and she wasn't happy about it. Like, it was really hard for her for a long time.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Oh my gosh, she loves him. Like, he's great. Like, he's husband material. Like husband material, daddy, everything, has a great job, makes over $100,000 a year, all that.
All right, daddy.
Everything that a woman would want, girl.
Daddy, yes.
Handy, he looks good, everything. This man can do everything.
Yeah.
But for me, it's about let me be me.
Oh, yes.
It's let me be me. Let me roam the streets whenever I roam the streets. I don't want to be out. I don't need nobody checking on me or nothing like that. And it wasn't too often, but you could always tell when there's a little bit of when they don't like it.
Yeah.
And you gotta like what I do. You either like it or you don't. But that's what I started to feel. But what I started to feel in my heart was like, it's time to go. Like, that's what just kept coming up. Like, it's time to go. So I had like planned it a month before. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but I start, you start learning about manifestation and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So you're like, let me try it. So during that time, I was listening to Abraham Hicks, and he was home, and the video she starts talking about like when you're in a relationship and you want something else, vibrationally, it starts to happen.
Yes, it does.
You start to create something else, and he heard it. He's like, oh, so that's what you've been listening to? It starts to go off, girl. And it wasn't even about me wanting to be with somebody else. I was leaving for me, to get to know who I am and what do I really want. Who am I really, right? Without 100%. My parents, without always having a man, like really be independent. So once he heard that, he's like, I already know you're moving out. And I was like, he's like, I already know. And I was like, listen, I said, I'm not leaving for anybody else. I'm leaving for me. I said, your path is like this and my path is like this. I said, and my path has always been like this. It's always been all over the place. Every time my dad has always asked me, I remember one time my dad would be like, when are you going to look for a job? I'm like, Dad, the job is looking for me.
I love that. The job is looking
and it's so funny because one time when my dad did ask me that, I ended up working. That's when I started working in the barbershop, girl.
That is so funny.
That was my job for 4 years. But my dad knows, like, he's always known that I like to run wild. I love my freedom.
Same. We're free spirits. Wait, what's your son's sign again? What's your sign again?
I'm a Cancer.
That's it. Oh, but we'll find out everything else because you are not, I guarantee you got some Gemini. I think some Sagittarius.
I got some fire. Yeah.
I see Sagittarius with the adventure, but okay, go ahead. Yes, you have fire in you.
So I ended up planning my move. I picked the neighborhood that I wanted to live in and all that stuff. And I was just like, well, let's see what happens. Like, how am I going to get the money, right? So I get a check in the mail during this time that I'm planning my move, right? And I got a check from, like, I had bonded my brother out of jail and with his money, but the check got sent to my house.
Oh,
right?
Amazing.
Right. So I was like, oh, fuck, I got the money. So then after that, I put the check in my bank and I was like, if he don't ask me, I ain't saying shit. If he does ask me, I'm going to tell him I got the money, and if he needs it back, then I'll give it back. So my brother ends up asking me 3 days later for the money. And I was like, yeah, I got it, but I need it. Can I keep it? He's like, yeah, you could keep it. So
wow.
I was like, boom.
Thanks, bro.
Right. For the deposit for the apartment that I wanted was $700, right? They ran my credit. Everything was approved. I was like, I got money for movers. I got money for everything that I needed. I had $2,500, girl. And then I still had money left over, which was great. So anyway, I pay the deposit for the apartment. I pack up my shit. That day, my brother was like, just get the truck. I got the movers for you. He's like, I'm going to have all my workers come and help you move. Girl, I was like,
wow.
Right. So, when it's time, the universe just opens the doors for you, like full blown, wind blowing, breaks the glass. Yes. So even my sister was like, I don't know what you were putting out into the universe, but I was sleeping and I heard you scream in my ear, get up and help me. And I woke up and I thought you were going to be standing in front of me and nobody was there.
Oh my God.
She's like, whatever you were putting out, I heard you. And so she even texted me, and she's like, do you need help? And I was like, no, sis, like everything's good. Girl, my best friend from California came all the way to Chicago to help me.
Aww.
Right? I know.
Aww.
So then she's like, anyways, the workers come, I move everything, right? So even before that, I started going furniture shopping with my mom and I was like, damn, I don't even know how good my credit is. Like, I'm going to need all this stuff. So I was in the furniture store and they're like, well, we can run your credit, And I was like, I'm thinking in my mind, like, damn.
I know that nervous, like that little feeling, like, here we go.
Girl, I got approved for $5,000 worth of furniture.
Oh my God.
I know, right?
Yes.
They're like 0 interest for 3 years. I was like, God loves me. So I got my first girl. I got everything I needed. Within 2 weeks, So I move out, I get my apartment. Then I end up manifesting the location where I want my business, which was in the same neighborhood. Because at the time I was working 45 minutes away. So literally I manifested my apartment in the same year, my business in the same year. So when you manifest when you ask the universe for something, you have to be very specific.
Yes.
About what you want. And with that apartment, I knew what I wanted, but everything that came with it was just the neighborhood was great, but it's a brand new apartment, first time ever person to live in there. So there's a lot of things that need to be fixed, which is what ended up happening. But I was grateful for the experience. So when I did manifest it, I actually manifested this apartment right here.
Looks beautiful.
Thank you. Down to the view of the city, down to my parking space, down to the price. I manifested.
Really? I love hearing this.
Everything.
Yes.
Everything, girl. And it didn't even come from an ad. It didn't even come from somewhere on the internet. It came through a client that I was doing her eyebrows and I was talking to her about it. She's like, hey, well, I have an apartment in this and this neighborhood. Even the neighborhood I manifested, girl. And she's like, if you want, they're getting ready to move out in 4 days. I had 4 days to move out of my apartment.
Whoa.
I had been searching endlessly. I was like, and that day that she came, I was like, I give up. I was like, I fucking give up. If I can't move, then I'll just pay month to month. So she gets in my chair and she's like, oh, we started talking about neighborhood. And I was like, oh, so-and-so. So she just so happens to know my ex-boyfriend's sister.
Wow.
Exactly. And he lives just a few blocks away from here. So she starts to tell me, she's like, you want to come and see it? You can come and see it on this day. Girl, as soon as I walk in, I have a view of the city. She tells me, it's 1650. And then when I see it, she's like, indoor parking, heating.
Shut up. That's really good for Chicago, isn't it?
She didn't even check my credit.
I love hearing these stories when the universe pulls through. That's amazing. And what?
Yeah. And that whole time that I was working, I was just, girl, I was doing so much manifesting during that time that I had actually manifested $10,000 that month into my business. And
the beauty portal?
What happened?
The beauty portal?
Yeah. And I was just doing eyebrows, but I was saving all my money. And even when I was moving out of the apartment into this one a few days before, the universe is going to test the patience. Where you're at.
Yeah.
They busted the windows to my car, my windshield, my side windows. I had tints. Like, girl, just so much stuff happened within the week where I had to pay for that. I had to pay the insurance. And I was just like, you know what? I can't even be mad. Like, I got my apartment. I paid for it. I got everything that I need. So I ended up manifesting this apartment through a client, which was beautiful. And right on time when I needed it, I had the money. So I was like, you know what? I'm good. Like, there's no room to complain. I moved into my apartment. I love it here. It comes with everything that I need. I'm close to my parents. So, I've done a lot, girl. I've done a lot of my own healing. I created the beauty portal during this time. And when I woke up and I received the download of what it would be, it is inner beauty. It is outer beauty. I'm not just providing a service now that I know, like, my mission in this lifetime is a healer.
Yes.
To show women that they can love themselves, but it's not just about what's on the outside. And something about the beauty industry is they don't teach you that you're going to deal with other people's problems.
Yeah.
We're not taught about the actual energy exchange that's happening, about what's happening when somebody comes and dumps all their problems on you, unknowingly, that you're taking all this energy on, not knowing why you're tired, not knowing why you have
angry,
not knowing why your back hurts, not knowing why you're angry. And you don't even know that none of this is yours.
Yes.
Even I've had a few times where I can be worked. I had a client that she's like, oh my God, I'm always hot and sweating, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, so I'm doing her eyebrows and I was like, are you hot? She's like, no, girl, I was taking on all her energy. I was sweating from my neck.
Wow.
And that's when I realized, I was like, you know what, I'll be back. And so, I step out of the room and I just put my bubble on. And I was like, that's hers. This is not mine.
Do you have a little trick? Like, do you envision white light? Do you have anything?
Yeah. So I'll do the white light or cold or ice because...
Oh, ice. I never heard of that. Tell me what's that.
Just kind of like cold water pouring into me.
I love that.
Because when I pick up on people's energies, I get really hot.
Me too. Wow. Yes, me too.
Really, really hot. So I'll do that when I have a client, but that's initially why what's the purpose of the beauty portal? So people know, and my beauty industry, people know what's the actual energy exchange that's happening. So you're going home and you know that whatever you're feeling is probably not even yours. So I did host my very first event. I had my friend who's a shaman. He's been one of my great teachers, energy healers, has taught me so much just about myself, about communication, about healing. And I brought him in to host my very first event. We learned about frequencies, the words frequencies, the words that the frequency that words carry.
Yeah.
How we're using our words, like how we can actually be cursing ourselves versus, helping ourselves.
Yes, there are weapons. Our words can so easily be our most dangerous weapons.
Exactly. So that was my very first event that I hosted. So I'm going to be hosting more in the future. Obviously after COVID calms down, I think that's going to take a while. So, which is okay. There's different ways to do it now. Zoom is very popular. Like, thank God for technology. Girl,
thank God.
We're still up and running. Business is still up and running. Like, when you're using social media, you're using it the right way. Like, you're bringing a lot of purpose when you're doing it with intention. So that's why the beauty portal came about. And that's how my journey was, just being open to things that I don't know. I could have said, why am I going to a healing circle? Why am I doing this? So also the beauty portal is like, hey girl, you could come to this by yourself. It's okay. A lot of other people are going to come, learn to be alone, learn to take yourself out on a date, learn to take yourself out to go eat, honor yourself, honor your time alone, because a lot of people don't know how to be alone. That's when you get to know you. That's how you know how to set boundaries with people.
Yes.
Even with my parents, I was talking about that program to be magnetic. So they go into your family, how you were raised, right? They talk about love. They talk about money, how to undo all those programs.
All that deep. I feel like it's an evolution of like unprogramming forever.
Unprogramming yourself. Even the program goes as far as creating new parents. Like, what would your ideal parents be like? Know? And so with my parents now, I had to set a lot of boundaries where like, hey, I just want to come over. I put my mom in the blacklist for 2 months.
I have some mommy issues, and working on boundaries is what after a lot of stuff after my relationships, actually working on creating boundaries with mothers. And I don't know about for you, wanting to learn how I can raise my daughter so she doesn't want to create like I already have. It's healthy. So she doesn't need to create boundaries with me one day.
You know what?
Or my sons.
I like that you bring that up because every day the relationship with my daughter gets better. Aww. And one thing that I learned is to not judge them.
Yes. Yep.
And whatever it is, my daughter tells me all the gossip about everything, in school, the drama in other people's houses. and I just say, but I never judge her, even when I'm like, what the fuck, you know, I'm a choke, or you want to, you want to get mad for a second, and so, I always tell her, like, I listen, but I don't judge. And I think now that she sees more and more how I'm helping other women, she's paying attention all the time. And I always let her know that, like, even when it goes as far as cleaning your room or getting her to do things, I let her know, hey, I say, hey, you're 13 years old now. If it is important for you to go hang out with your friends, it's important for you to take care of your responsibilities at home.
Love that. Yeah.
And if you want an allowance, you have to earn it, because when you go out into the real world and you have a job, you have to know about money. You have to know how to handle money. I was never taught about money. I was never taught about a bank account. I was never taught how to save money. I was never taught about credit. I was never taught about any of that.
Yeah.
All I knew was that you got five brothers and sisters. There's no money. There's no money. I had to reprogram my money mindset.
Wow.
My parents, who I am, I have free will.
Yeah.
So with my daughter, I just always let her know what is important about situations. If it has nothing to do with you, stay out of it.
That's a good one.
Right? You need to be honest with me, because I'm going to have your back. Your mother's going to have your back. Yeah. If you ever go to jail for whatever reason, you're going to call me. Yeah. So don't count on your friends.
Wait, can I tell you something? I've been in a married, engaged, father of my children, and the only phone number I still have, especially when I was young and bad, memorized is my mother's phone number. That is it from all the times,
Yeah, and that's the thing too, where especially when it comes to disciplining them, as parents, we tend to say, or anyways for me, like, don't do this, don't do that, you can't do this. And a good example of that is like, you could be going out with a friend and you say, don't get in the car with friends that are drinking, versus where you could say, hey, these are the consequences if you get into a car with somebody that's drinking.
It's great. Wow. That's great advice.
Highlighting immediately, like, oh shit, you're right. Versus, for me, my mom was always, no. You can't go to your friends and they can't come. Girl, I was the rebel child. I was the first one to get kicked out. I would sneak out of the house when my mom would leave to work at 9 o'clock at night, right? She would work the night shift. So as soon as she left and my dad was already in bed, I would sneak out and I would come home before my dad would go to work at 3 o'clock in the morning. I would hide in the backyard. I would watch him leave, and then I would go in the house, So when my daughter tries to do anything, I'm like, listen, I am the queen of sneaky. I'm the queen of mischief. I said, there's nothing that you can get past me. So it's better if you are honest with me, because I got your back. Yeah. If you need to call somebody, your friends don't got your motherfucking back.
No, they don't. That's the truth.
So I let her know, whatever it is, if you're going to experience drugs, I said, you're going to go through all of it. You're going to make the right decisions. I said, but if anything happens, you need to be honest with me, because I'm the one that's going to have your back.
Wow.
And I always stress that, because I never had that with my mom. Okay. I had to sneak around everything. So my relationship is creating everything, but and including trust more than anything, with my daughter, because with my mom, I could tell her something and then she would throw it in my face. She'd be like, I told you, you're stupid, shit like that.
Wow.
So with my daughter, I'm just like, well, what do you think? What do you think is the best, the best solution? So giving them a voice where I don't put her down. I tell her, I said, you're my equal. I'm not better than you. We're the same, but we need to be on the same page, because with our parents, I'm bigger than you. I know more than you, and they belittle you.
Yes. Yeah.
And when you let your parents belittle you, it's easy to let a man belittle you. It's easy to make them feel like you're nothing. Yeah. Like you're not valuable, like you're not enough. And for a long time, like you feel like I'm not enough. Why don't they see me? But right now I know I don't need nobody to see me. I see me. God sees me.
Yes.
So even with my daughter, when it comes to certain things, like, like her little boyfriend, one day, like they're shy. Like, they have a relationship where they don't even talk to each other. They don't even know what the fuck's going on,
Do they just Snapchat or something? Like their nose? Kids are weird. It's like their nose.
They really don't talk or anything like that. But she feels like, oh, he doesn't reach out to me. I said, let me tell you something. I said, him not knowing what he's doing and not doing as a boy is abuse to you.
Wow.
From what I see is abuse. I said, how are you going to give somebody that much power to make you feel like shit? I said, Alani, he's a boy. He's playing video games right now.
Yeah.
You know, he could be your boyfriend. He could say this, but he's not doing it on purpose. But he doesn't know how he's actually hurting you.
Yeah.
I said, you're 13, boo. Worry about your friends. Have fun. That ain't going to be the first boyfriend or the last boyfriend that you have.
Share that again.
You and I got traveling to do. We got shit to do.
Aww.
Boy, mom's going to show her all the things that she can have. So when she does have a man, she's going to know what it actually really is, because she's going to have it all by herself.
Yeah.
It's the independence, the chain that I'm breaking from my mom telling me that I have to have a man to take care of me. No, we ain't doing that anymore.
I love the rise. You gave me chills. I love the rise of feminine. You were like, we're getting to the end of this episode, but I ask a couple questions at the end, so it's good. But I just want to say, you are like gonna help transform her. I see you breaking that ancestry, like those curses. You're rising in your community and everything, like the rise of women, and it's beautiful, beautiful to see. I'm serious. It's like and it's so cool to see you're powerful, your force and the change. And I just love everything about you. So I ask these 3 questions at the end of every episode. And the first question is, if you could go back, we didn't talk too much about your childhood, but if you go back to any hard time or any time little Andrea needed like that extra love, what would you say to her?
Oh man, oh God, I've done so much inner child work, and that's always the first thing that I tell my friends, like, how would you nurture your inner child? What would you tell her, And I always tell my little girl, I love you, you're beautiful, you're enough, you can do anything. You do not get value in being needed by men. You are enough a million times over and over again. And I just honor her all the time, and I praise her. And I can like clearly see a picture of like what I look like, what I'm wearing, because I've always done my hair and fixed my hair as a little girl. Yeah. And for me, fixing my hair isn't just me doing my hair. It's a ritual for me. It's my crown. It's where I receive my information. Yeah. So I always honor and praise her. I love her. You're enough. You're beautiful. You could do anything. I got your back. Just like I tell my daughter, I got your back. I always tell her, I got your back, because I do got my back now. And I don't, it's not about needing anybody else. It's just knowing now what I am capable of without anybody, telling me that I can't. Yes. I love, oh my God. I think you're amazing. So what, like, you're going to be such a powerful force. I can't wait for this decade to see the rise of women. I'm just going to say that. And listen, honey, we're taking over. We're taking over. And for the men listening, it's okay to like let down your masculine guard. We're ready to take over. So just like, it's fine. But the next question is, what is the best piece of advice anyone's ever given you? Anything that comes to mind, anyone in your life? The best piece of advice anybody has ever given me. Oh my God. Hold on. I got to think about that one. Let's see. I don't always warn people, because I like to just see what comes to like the first front of their mind, Let me see. Oh my God. You know what? I would really, honestly, I think the one that really, really, I'm trying to think about the one that stuck. I think for certain, I know for certain, one thing that has really stuck with me and always improving, the business that I'm in now is network marketing, but the woman that I originally learned from was, in her seminar, she said, your life has to be better than it is right now. And I believe that is something that we have to work on every single day, making our life better than it is right now. But in order to make a better life, you need to make a better you. Yes. And, loving yourself and honoring your path and where you're at is okay. That is exactly where you are supposed to be. Which is sometimes hard to hear. So it's really, we have to really learn to honor ourselves where we're at and know that it is okay, that life is not a race. And even for myself, we have to slow down. We have to be in the present moment, because that's actually when the magic really happens. If you're so distracted being in a race, like, when you think, like, the vision that I'm getting is like when you see the road runner and he doesn't see anything, right?
Yeah.
But the tortoise or whoever's chasing him, you see the rabbit and the hare, right?
Wow.
But the tortoise is at peace, going at his own pace.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm gonna get there, but I'm gonna get there when I get there. You can go that far ahead, and when you're in a hurry, like, you don't see anything. You miss out on a lot of things.
It's true.
And people are missing out on themselves.
Yeah.
You're missing out on you. You're not missing out on anything else. You're missing out on the things that really truly make you happy, trying to be in a hurry to get to the things that you think are going to make you happy.
Wow. So, I mean, everyone listening, you could think about that right now as we're in this quarantine, right? Like, one of the reasons why the universe slowed all of us down.
Oh, yeah. And, for a lot of people, that's like, what do I do? What do I do? I've never been this still before.
Yeah. Who am I?
This is going to help me to get even more still.
I love it. I love it. Now, do you have, so the final question is, what's your final thoughts, your advice, everything you want to leave for our listening audience right now? Everyone out there stuck in their homes, quarantining, people in the beauty industry, whatever it is, what do you want to leave?
If I'm going to leave any word, any love, a message from the heart, it would be you, man, it's okay to be exactly where you are.
Yeah.
But you have to make the choice that if you want to improve your life, is to ask for the right things. Because what we tend to do is, like, we tend to say, well, I need you to get these people out of my life. And no, you ask the universe, thank you for placing the right people in my life.
Wow.
Thank you for bringing me people who are teaching me things and inspiring me. It's all about courage. Have courage to step out and do new things, because a lot of times we don't know what we're capable of. We're missing out on meeting new people. Like that whole thing, like, no new friends. I want new fucking friends.
Yes,
I want
new fucking friends
that are teaching me things. So be open to possibility, and know that if somebody is doing something that you want to do, it is absolutely possible for you to do it too. It doesn't matter what it is.
Yes, and
so it would be open to possibility.
There's always enough abundance of people for whatever you want. Oh my
God, there's more than enough. And abundance is your birthright. You can do and have anything that you want.
Yeah.
And that's what we're missing out on, comparing ourselves to other people's lives. Like what we see on social media, like, they say, what do they say? Comparison is the thief of joy.
Wow. Yeah.
So stop letting people take your joy. If there's something that you love, and somebody says something stupid about it, like, that's them. That has nothing to do with
nothing.
If you love it and it makes you happy, do it. And then when you're, people forget that joy, love, happiness is a vibration. So when you're actually in that vibration, guess what the universe is going to do? It's going to send you more.
Yes, it is.
So honor your path, honor where you are, love yourself, praise yourself, and learn to celebrate yourself, which is what I'm learning now. It's cool to celebrate myself.
And you have so much to celebrate.
Yeah, every day to wake up and, have a home and have many things. Like, I practice so much gratitude, and that's something that people should do right now.
Practice gratitude,
man. That'll shift your whole life.
Write a gratitude list.
Yeah, do that gratitude list. 3 things,
Yeah.
Girl, the other day I was like, I'm grateful that I got a whole shitload of laundry to do, because you know what? That means I have clothes.
Wow.
That means I got a washer and dryer. If I got a sink full of dirty dishes, great. Guess what? That means that I got food.
Yes.
Right? So look at the tiniest little things. It doesn't have to be big. If you got $20 in your bank account, cool. Somebody might not have anything.
Nothing, or hundreds negative. Absolutely.
Yeah, or homeless.
Homeless.
So just, practice gratitude, honor your path, honor where you are. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. Otherwise, you wouldn't be there. So every day is a choice. You can choose happiness, you can choose love, you can choose kindness, you can choose joy, and everything is a choice. It's all just about what you're choosing and what you're choosing to, look at on the internet, or people that you choose to be around. So always choose yourself before letting anybody make those choices for you.
Yes. Oh my God, this has been amazing, Andrea. You are like, I see you just like forefronting and like just women. We're just like taking over, and I love it. And you're bringing so much healing to your family, your friends, your clients, your loved ones, everyone. I can see it in you. The brow healer. Now tell everyone where they can find you again, your website, your Instagram, email, whatever it is. Where can they find you?
So my website is thebeautyportal.com. And that is where I have my brow services and where I'll be hosting my events in the future. And then my Instagram handle is @thebrow-healer.
And I'm telling you, I follow her on there. Her, as you can hear, her spirituality, her healing, everything is amazing. Her messages every day she brings are amazing. But you got to check out those brows too, because those ombre brows, I'm serious, are so good. They're amazing. They're amazing. Thank you everyone for tuning in to another fabulous episode of the Quarantine series. Thank you. If you get a chance, please rate, review, subscribe, send to someone who this will help them raise their vibration. Love you all, and I will see you soon.